Hi Wildings, welcome back to the Wilding Tarot channel, where we do intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it, guys. I'm filming a little bit later in the day today than I normally do, so you can see I've added a few candles because I'm a little bit worried that we're gonna run out of sunshine today. I do have also my purple floodlights on, so hopefully that gets us through, but pile 3, like, it might be a bit of an ambiance for you, just like heads up. But as for our theme of the day, the topic of the day, the question that I've felt guided to ask is, I want to know about the day that your person realized that they were in love with you. Like, what happened, what made them realize it? Is there anything kind of like cute or sweet that spirit might want you to know about that day in particular? So yeah, today we're going to ask questions regarding what happened, how your person realized they love you, and what might have happened on that day. So this can be for any situation. It might be for people that are like together, crushing, or like in a relationship, or in a situationship, or in a separation, or in a no contact situation. But whatever your situation is, I am hoping to get messages for you. But just as always, taking what resonates, leaving what doesn't, and meditating on the rest, because it is a general reading. So yeah, it will be necessary for you to use your intuition and discernment based on the general nature of this reading. But with all of the disclaimers out of the way, you can go ahead and choose a pile to get your reading, remembering that I always leave a very, very brief description in the very bottom of the description box for each reading, in case you're practicing any sort of self-care, like avoiding triggers or only opening yourself up to certain readings, and or like maybe you're just not feeling super connected to your intuition today, and you want to hear a few more buzzwords before making your decision. That option is always there for you. But for everyone else, just using your intuition to pick either pile 1, 2, or 3. And wherever you end up, I will see you there in a moment. If you need more time, I will add a freeze frame for you to give you that little bit of extra time. So pause there, and I will see you at your pile in a moment. Hey there, pile 1, welcome to your reading for what made your person fall in love with you, or a bit of a vibe check on that day. So if you chose this beautiful clear quartz crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But as always, taking what resonates, leaving what doesn't, and meditating on the rest. We're just going to go ahead and get some themes using this astrology deck. It is like a little bit stormy and cloudy here today, so I might have to mess with the settings on the camera a little bit to make sure that like the lighting is enough. Okay, so pile 1, your themes for your reading today is the 3rd house and or Gemini, communication, Mercury energy. It's also fire element energy, which is Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo energy. And then Aries energy like on its own as well. So I would say this is a heavy Aries energy reading. Aries rules the 1st house of self and identity, and is ruled by Mars. And Sag and Leo rule the 5th and 9th house. 5th is a lot to do with like creativity, and it's ruled by the Sun. And then the 9th has a lot to do with spiritual development, and it's ruled by Jupiter. But let's go ahead and get a little bit more specific using this traditional tarot. Ooh. Got the King of Cups in reverse, Seven of Wands in reverse, Temperance card in reverse, and the Strength card right way up. Could you clarify this King of Cups energy, please? And the Seven of Wands, please. And the Temperance card, please. Yep. That was bound to happen with all these extra cards. Pile 1. Oh my god, that took me way too long to figure out. Seems like your person was potentially a little bit emotionally unavailable before they met you. And the day that they realized they loved you, they definitely weren't expecting that to change. They were kind of like, in this connection, were expecting everything to kind of like go the same way as it always does, and for them to not really want to open up to anyone or be available to anyone, and maybe be more concerned with their presentation or persona and putting that out there rather than being their authentic selves. But it seems like with this 7 and 8 in reverse, without even doing anything, you just like kind of dissolved all of their walls on this day that they kind of like started opening up to you and realized that they were in love with you. Because like kind of what it was, there was a moment between the two of you where they just felt like so supported and just like felt like they could actually be themselves for a change, instead of this like persona that they'd always like been putting on for everyone else. It seemed like you weren't like asking anything from them, weren't looking to like take anything from them, and was just like really open to seeing who they really were, without like kind of judging or like whatever. Like you just didn't really care about anything really. You just wanted to know what the truth was, so to speak. And like the way that you showed up for them on that day where they realized that they loved you, like you were just like so abundant and like happy and in the flow of life, and just like kind of radiating like love and like connection, and you just seem so kind of like zen. This Strength card is like mastering the beast within. It's kind of like as if the like animal side of you that kind of goes into fight, flight, freeze, fawn was like really kind of like you were in control of it. Like it wasn't like getting the better of you at all. So potentially like this day that they realized they loved you, maybe there was some sort of like kind of conflict happening between the two of you, but you like not making them take responsibility for your stuff. Like to them it was amazing, because like they were used to connections where like the connection would almost consume them, and like the other person would always blame them for their stuff, and it was like kind of this war of like blaming and ego, rather than like this connection between two people that just wanted to like resolve issues. So yeah, I think you're in some sort of like fiery communication where the two of you could be in some sort of like egoic standoff, but for whatever reason, like you were really like not forcing like your ideas onto them from a place of ego. You're really like kind of open to hearing them out and open to them being who they are and like them having their stuff and like just wanting to hear it and support them. So yeah, like you just showed up so well for them in that moment that even though you guys were like kind of in an argument, it seems like they realized that they like really loved you. But let's go ahead and get some oracles and see if we can paint a better picture. Precious time and friendship. So it seems like your person, like in that moment, they realized that they could trust you and that there wasn't just this like kind of sexual chemistry and like kind of romantic chemistry between the two of you. There was this like friendship energy, like a real caring about each other on like just a like basic level that the two of you could actually go the distance. And this is where they realized that this was like a real thing and not just like kind of a whatever thing. Precious time is about not wasting someone's time and like looking for the real deal. So they definitely in that moment realized that like you were it essentially, like that there's like real potential for a like long-term connection here because you both cared about each other. Yeah, so we've got love call, someone expressing love, thinking about you and letting you know, clarity, truth, honor, protection, power with the sword and the rose. So I think like when they fell in love with you, like it made them really want to use their own power to protect you. Like I'm getting that it kind of like ignited this real protective energy in them. And probably if you think back to when that really ignited for them, that might give you an idea of like what conversation kind of led to them realizing that they loved you. They might have expressed love in that moment, or they might have just kind of from that moment made more of an effort to show you that they were thinking of you, and like were more conscious of like you as an entity in their life. Like they potentially started reaching out a bit more, and that's how you can tell what that moment was for them. Yeah, I think they have a lot of faith in this connection still, regardless of what your current situation is. If you're in a relationship, a separation or whatever, yeah, they have a lot of faith in this connection still. Like it's, to me, it feels like they haven't changed how they felt ever since this moment where they realized they loved you. And yeah, I think they understand what an abundant connection this is, how much like love and care and like genuine friendship is contained within this connection. This is like gonna be super dark. Oh well, witchy vibe. Anything else for pile 1, please? Anything else for pile 1, please? I don't know if that changed anything, but I've got one of my computers on either side of me, so I'm just gonna turn up the brightness on those screens, so hopefully you can see the cards a little bit clearer. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the first and last, and this one. Okay, so we have work through your fears, nothing is set in stone, and your dreams need a practical plan. I'd say there's still some things in this connection that need to be resolved somehow in some way, for you guys to have that enduring connection that your person really sees as a potential for you guys. It seems like whatever was coming up in that conversation where yeah, they realized they loved you because of how you were showing up to it. Like there was definitely fears coming up for them, and I would say that there was fears coming up for you even though you weren't kind of letting it take over the conversation and take over the communication at the time. but yeah, that still needs to be brought to the surface and kind of spoken about and worked through between the two of you. So yeah, there's definitely some like space for you guys to like design your life, design how you want everything to go, design like what your dream life together would be, and then like taking practical steps to move towards that, because no relationship can exist on love alone. Like it needs like both people to be very aware of their stuff and their boundaries and like what they want from life, what feels authentic for them, what feels like their life purpose and the soul contracts that they need to like feel out in this lifetime. So yeah, it requires a lot of like negotiation and communication and like kind of getting on each other's page so that you can really understand each other. But it seems like your person definitely sees you guys as having a lot of good potential for that. So yeah, like definitely from now into the future, like that's something for you guys to think about. I'm hearing for the people that are together, like you really need to start working on this like now, kind of to ensure the future of this connection. And for those in some sort of separation or whatever, like potentially it's time to really get clarity on your side of the situation, so the two of you do have a good chance of reuniting and like making this future that the two of you most likely see with each other, actually giving it like a fighting chance. So we have 2 affirmations for you, pile 1. We have, I radiate prosperity and manifest success, and I allow myself to rest and I reap the benefits of my hard work. I think this rest one has to do with the people that are in separation right now. It's really important for you to like be in solitude, work on you, so that you will be able to reap the benefit of all that introspection and self-work and shadow work when you do reunite. And I think this radiating prosperity and manifesting success is potentially for everyone, but I would say more for the people that are still in connection, like being really mindful that whatever you're like spending lots of energy on is going to manifest. So really focusing on all the prosperities within yourself to do with like what you came here to do, like your life purpose and like all of that beautiful stuff, like really maximizing on that to create success in this relationship. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile 1. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It was a pleasure reading for you. My name's Jade Wilding, and I will be on this page doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it, guys. So if you can like, comment, and subscribe, that would really help me stay on your feed for more readings just like this. Until then, ciao. Hey there, pile 2. Welcome to your reading for what made your person fall in love with you, or what was going on that day, or anything Spirit wants you to know about that moment in particular. But let's go ahead and get your reading started. I'm trying to be kind of quick because I feel like we're going to run out of light. There's already had a massive disappearing of light since I opened. It's like kind of stormy here, so what daylight I had has been squandered, I think. But let's go ahead and get themes for pile 2's reading. We have the 4th house, the 10th house, and Libra. So pile 1, the 4th house corresponds to Cancer energy. It is ruled by the moon, corresponds with like family, home, stability, security. Cancer is obviously a watery energy. And then the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn and Saturn. Saturn is the placement of like responsibility and honoring your kind of life purpose in this carnation. Capricorn's quite earthy and ambitious. And the 10th house has a lot to do with like our career, but like more broadly our life purpose. And then we have Libra energy, which rules the 7th house and is ruled by Venus energy, and has a lot to do with our relationships. So these are very interesting energies, but let's get a little bit more specific using this traditional tarot. So we have the 7 of Swords, Nine of Cups, and Knight of Cups. Ten of Cups. Can we clarify the 7 of Swords energy, please? And can we also clarify this 10 of Cups energy? Pile 2, when you and your person met, they'd probably really been through it in a connection not that long before you, or either it was not that long, or it was like really long term and it was just like taking them ages to kind of like get over. In that connection they were like super betrayed, and like kind of everything that they thought that they were working towards kind of all fell apart when this relationship fell apart before you. And I'm sensing that it had a lot to do with kind of more their like image of themselves. Like I think they saw themselves as this like kind of major like hustler and like really like successful, and like I'm kind of getting a like divine masculine energy of like but like kind of toxic, like they wanted to be this like massive like baller with kind of like this like kind of like perfect life and like kind of stay at home partner, whoever that might be. And kind of when this relationship ended, it like all of their ideas about who they were as a like protector and provider and all that like really crumbled, and they like went through it for a bit. Like they like were really lost. They realized they didn't actually know what made them truly happy in their heart of hearts. They were like kind of just adhering to these narratives that they'd heard before, and thinking that was going to make them happy. And so they kind of like weren't really manifesting like anything in line for them, like anything that's actually aligned for them. They were like just like really like they didn't even like consciously at least know what they want, know what would make them happy, and know like what kind of relationship they needed and what they needed to manifest. But then when you came in, I'm kind of getting a little bit of love at first sight vibes, to be honest. Like this Knight of Cups energy is definitely like a love at first sight kind of archetype. It's a very passionate romantic kind of energy, and it corresponds like to air of water, or Libra and Scorpio energy. So yeah, like Scorpio is like the house of rules the house of like beginnings and endings, so it's like kind of like an all or nothing kind of very transformative like energy. And then Libra is obviously that partnership balance kind of energy, and like essentially when they met you, they realized that the connection that they'd lost wasn't as much of a loss as what they thought it was. Like losing it was actually a form of divine protection to keep them away from a path that actually was never meant for them. And it's almost like they were like in so much pain and like really struggling with the end of this connection, more from like kind of their ideas about themselves than actually like I don't think they were really in love. Like I don't think the end of the relationship actually mattered to them all that much. It was the end of their ideas about the relationship that actually mattered to them. But then they met you. It was basically love at first sight. And it was like in that instant, like everything clicked for them. They understood love. They, and like kind of it was almost as if all the past pain was like healed, because like, even though they would have to like kind of unpack a lot of stuff in the future and like understand a lot of things and work some stuff out and like be able to put it into words, or at least like conceptualizations in their head, like it was almost like that moment just changed everything for them, and they were like this whole new person. And like it would take a while for their like physical body to kind of catch up, but like on a spiritual level they were like kind of changed forever. And yeah, so this was like the Empress energy with you. I'm getting like you're kind of this 4th house Cancer moon Empress energy, and they're this 10th house of like protector, provider, kind of divine masculine energy. And yeah, like meeting you like instantly felt like Christmas had like 10 Christmases had come at once. This card is the card of like alignment, happiness, and like true fulfillment. And yeah, it just like sparked as soon as like they met you. I think the only thing in that connection, they definitely felt kind of like wifey vibes from you, but like they definitely didn't know if they would be able to kind of step up into that like marriage kind of long-term commitment, because like yeah, they're definitely doubting that a lot of this stuff hasn't like kind of integrated for them yet. And so like I think marriage still to this day, by the sounds of it, makes them a little bit nervous. Like they're a little bit afraid of like, are they going to be able to do it good enough, because they do have some performance hang-ups. And I think they're also like a little bit afraid of like losing some freedom, but it's like definitely something on their mind. They're having this kind of like to and fro with it, because it's definitely something that they want. It's something that's on their mind. And like it's kind of something that they couldn't imagine not having, just based on the two of you and like the way your connection's gone. Like yeah, I think right now they're trying to like figure out a lot of stuff, and they're probably like connecting with like like-minded people, and people that have started doing this work so that they can understand like all the work that they have to do to kind of integrate these lessons into their 3D self a little bit better, and figuring out how to show up better. I would say for a few of you, you may be in some sort of separation from this person, and I'm getting that it's from this like 4 of Wands energy in reverse. Like I'm getting like it was like almost overwhelming, just because like this connection was just like so here we go, wedding rings. So we've got a bit of synchronicity here, so it seems like that's definitely where they're headed. They're headed to this wedding rings card, but they're not ready today. Like they've still got some stuff to sort out. They're like going to ask mentors for help to like kind of figure out how to do all this work, because yeah, as I was saying, like you were just like completely out of the blue, like completely like changed everything in an instant, and like their 3D self is really trying to catch up with all this like as quickly as possible, but it's just going to take some time. Like they need time to pretty much, because they're pretty much like changing their whole path essentially, and changing like their whole understanding of their life. Like kind of when they met you, their life started to make a lot more sense, and like things started to click for them, but because they were like pretty off track, like they just have had a bunch of work to do. So it's important that you really trust with this egg moon. It's all about trust. Just got to trust this process, trust that the wedding rings is where it's going, And if you aren't in separation, I'd say your person might be a little bit flaky and distant. You might need to go into the separation, just check in with your boundaries to see if like you can handle this kind of like a little bit of distance from them and a little bit of emotional unavailability right now. Like that's really your call. But yeah, this connection definitely has the potential to really blossom into like a beautiful long-term wedding, like type long-term commitment. Yeah, and luck is on your side. I think it's actually more than luck. Like I think your guides are definitely on your side. They probably sent you here to make sure that you know that the universe is like conspiring in your favor to bring the two of you exactly what you want. But yeah, just take this time to breathe out, as the card says. Just like let this be a bit of a period of like maybe some dis-ease and like kind of disjointedness and like kind of like all over the shop kind of energy. Like let it be what it is. Like let your person have the space to like figure some stuff out, and let you have some space to figure some stuff out too. So the affirmation card we've got for you says, my mind, body and soul are filled with harmonious healing energy. I think it's definitely a big healing time for the two of you for sure. But I definitely see you doing a lot of work. I see your person definitely doing heaps and heaps of work. Like, to be honest, like they've been through it and they're like sorting a whole bunch of stuff out. They're like they're much more clear than what they were before they met you. And they just need time and they need you to trust. But I think I'm going to leave that here, pile 2. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It's been a pleasure reading for you. My name's Jade Rewilding and I'll be on this channel doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it, guys. So make sure you like, comment and subscribe to see me again on your feed very, very soon. And until then, ciao. Hey there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading for what made your person realize that they love you, or what happened that day that they realized, or anything spirit wants you to know about your person realizing that they loved you. But if you chose this beautiful purple fluorite crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's a general reading, so there will be some messages here for specific people. So you will need to use your intuition and discernment as always for general readings. But let's go ahead and get some themes for our reading using this astrology deck. Spirit, could you please have some themes for pile 3's reading? Could you please have some themes for pile 3's reading? Could you please have some themes for pile 3's reading? Okay, so we've got like hella financial energy here. First with the second house of owning, ruled by Taurus, and the Venus placement has to do with like our possessions, what we own, money, value, like all that sort of stuff. And then we also have the part of fortune increase card. We also have Aries energy, corresponds with the affirmation I am. It's obviously a cardinal fire sign ruled by Mars, ruler of the first house of self and identity. And then we have the Capricorn card, which rules the 10th house of our career, like kind of superficially, but our life purpose kind of like in a broader sense. Capricorn's an earth sign. It's a cardinal earth sign as well, so like heavy cardinal kind of energy here. And it is ruled by Saturn, which has a lot to do with honoring our soul contracts that we made before we came to Earth, and like a lot about truth and responsibility for sure. But let's get some more specific messages using this traditional tarot. So please get specific messages for pile 3, please, when it comes to the day that their person fell in love with them, please. Could you get more messages about could you clarify this Nine of Cups energy, please? Can you clarify the Seven of Swords energy, please? And the Six of Swords energy, please. Okay. Pile 3, I'm guessing for most of you here that you probably met your person either at work or school or some sort of like situation where one of you was in some sort of power position over the other. I'm getting that they were in some sort of power position over you probably. And so there might have been some hesitancy in this connection to move forward, just like based on the dynamics that you found yourself in. And so I think your person may have fallen in love with you probably before the two of you were like kind of official or anything like serious, because they were kind of like harboring feelings for you for a long time. And sometimes when we're harboring feelings for someone that we kind of can't have, it does like intensify everything and it can make us fall in love a lot faster. But yeah, it seems like before you guys, like you potentially aren't even together yet, like for some people here, but when you did get together when you did get together, like there'd kind of like been this whole history, and kind of like feeling like you belong to each other before you even like kind of connected, if that makes sense. So there was like this kind of long history before you'd even gotten a chance to kind of be together, or even if you're not together now, like there's this huge history between the two of you. It seems like when you met that maybe your person wasn't like feeling the best when it came to relationships. They're feeling kind of pretty unsatisfied, and I'm sensing that they were kind of wanting to seek out a partner, but had kind of given up a little bit, even though they were kind of like taking steps. Like I'm getting that they were probably on dating apps and like kind of actively looking, but feeling very despondent and like unsure about it. Like they're pretty sure that like this dating app situation or whatever situation they were in was like just not gonna give them the result they wanted, and they were kind of like doing it very kind of like from a place of like whatever, of like, or like kind of like on autopilot. And honestly, they didn't think that you would want to be with them. Like they just for some reason had it in their head that they felt this way about you, but you didn't feel the same way about them. But I'm getting that the two of you probably like fell in love at the same time, and we're probably both feeling this feeling of like, oh my God, like I love them, they don't love me at the same time. But really like you're both feeling the exact same thing and both doubting that the other person was feeling the same thing. And I think this had a lot to do with this, like as I was saying, this like work dynamic and this like power imbalance. Yeah, it was kind of like messing with the two of your head a little bit, and like yeah, kind of like not giving you any hope, because like I'd say from their perspective they were kind of like trying to do the right thing, being in a power position, or just flip that if it was like the opposite in your situation. But yeah, they were kind of like trying to do the right thing by their like job or institution or however you guys met, and it kind of probably threw you off track a little bit and thought maybe that they didn't feel the same way that you felt. So yeah, I'd say for a long time this connection was like quite stuck, even though the two of you felt the same way and were potentially like in love with each other, and it made you both feel like a lot of like pain and anguish and like thinking that this thing wasn't going to come together. But I can tell you now, if you aren't together, you feel exactly the same way. So like go for it. And if you are together, obviously you'll know that the two of you feel exactly the same way. But I want to see if there was anything in particular while the two of you were working together that might have made them fall in love with you. Okay, so I'd say that there was some sort of situation with the two of you in the workplace where you really went against the grain of kind of whatever the like status quo of that workplace is. I'm sensing for some of you that you're in some sort of meeting. I'm sensing for others of you that you were like just kind of like doing your thing and your person just happened to be like observing you. But yeah, like in this moment, like you're really like thinking very creatively, entrepreneurially, like, and very like uniquely. And in that moment, like your person was like watching you like kind of do your thing, and they were just like, whoa, this person like really has their stuff together, like they're so smart. Like yeah, it was kind of like this moment where they saw you in your full power, and that's when they really fell in love with you. And yes, like all this longing and like forbidden fruit like definitely contributed to that, but it was like kind of seeing you in your power that like kind of pushed them over the line. Yeah, they kind of like saw hidden depths, hidden sides of yourself, and they understood like the journey that you were on a little bit differently. And I think the two of you were probably sending each other like spiritual messages because you were kind of like separated for so long. And I think these spiritual messages that you were sending each other in the 5D was like making each other fall in love with each other even more. Because like you were kind of communicating on a 5D level before you were ever really communicating on a 3D level. And so it probably, when you did start connecting, if you have already, like it felt like you'd known each other forever, because there was so much going on behind the scenes and in the astral realm that like the two of you weren't really consciously aware of, but yeah, it was kind of like happening the whole time in this connection. So we have I like you and the chaser. I think probably both of you felt like the chaser throughout this connection initially, but the reality was that the two of you liked each other equally and that romance was blooming equally between the two of you pretty much the whole time. And probably like this moment where this person realized that they loved you, like you probably had a similar moment of realization even on the same day, or like within like kind of a short while of this person. You were like really on the same track without realizing you're on the same track. But there was kind of things that you needed to understand from kind of what played out before you guys either got together or about to get together. There was like some wisdom that you needed to gain from this like kind of weird period where stuff was coming up for you, and probably like kind of codependent tendencies were coming up where you were like really doubting yourself. We've also got a synchronicity of 2-2 here and 2-2 here, if you can see. Twos are like the angel number of both like divine masculine and like Kabbalah tarot, but also relationships, especially when they're paired together. So yeah, there was some sort of necessary, like this was part of the necessary path for you guys to have the wisdom that you needed to have to like learn some stuff about yourself and learn some stuff about this connection, so that you could go into it like just a little bit more wise. Yeah, there was definitely this period of assessing that you needed to do, and like kind of realization of kind of your own stuff, and just like learning a lot about the other person from this like place of like not really having any like ownership of each other, like kind of like this neutral place. Like you needed to learn about each other from this neutral place, and like understand and assess a lot about each other before you guys could be in connection. So it was like kind of the divine plan for you guys to like have the brakes hit on this connection for a while, and for you to kind of really battle with some of this codependent chaser energy, probably the two of you, and for you guys to both kind of get to this place where you both feel good enough with this full moon in Virgo energy. Yeah, you kind of needed to reach that conclusion on your own without the validation from this relationship, I'm hearing. Yeah, there was this powerful change that needed to happen, and you kind of really needed to go through this tough cycle to reach the resolution that was like intended for this connection. Yeah, so a win-win outcome is forecast and personal issues reach a resolution. So yeah, I think pretty much as I've been saying, like for the best chance for this connection, it needed to go this way. You needed to resolve some personal stuff first, and like figure out some things in this kind of like tough context and get to this place of like feeling good enough for you to actually have a chance at a win-win outcome in this connection. But yeah, like all of these cards to me are giving me heavy workplace vibes, so I'd be very surprised if you guys didn't meet in a workplace. Okay, so the affirmations that I have for you guys, it's probably not much point relighting this candle, but I just feel like the light right now, it's like making it a necessity. But yeah, pile 3. Your affirmations for right now is I am welcoming positive change as an opportunity to expand my being, and I radiate love and my heart is open to receiving the love I desire. So I'd say for like everyone, no matter what your situation is, there's probably a like big pull towards being together right now. It seems like in terms of the cards, like it's kind of suggesting that the two of you are like ready for some sort of positive change, and being open to receiving love and other miracles. There may still be some like expansion happening that might slow this down slightly if you aren't in connection yet, or you've been in connection and come out of it and then wanting to go back into it. Just trust the timing. Like there's a lot going on here in this connection, especially in the 5D, and like stuff that you guys are figuring out on like higher level. So yeah, just like focusing on like expanding and being as open to love as possible in this time is really important. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile 3. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It's been a pleasure reading for you. My name is Jade Rewilding, and I'll be back on this channel doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it, guys. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to see me on your feed again very, very soon. But until then, ciao.